Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a review of Iron Flame. Mostly, I just want to talk about all my favorite parts of this story. So, hang on. We're going to get to all the spoilers. First, I want to talk about the non-spoiler stuff. I am definitely going to have spoilers for book 1, okay? This book definitely takes off where book 1 ended. So, if you know nothing about book 1, you may not want to stick around. I'm going to try and keep it as spoiler free as possible, but I don't know that that's possible for book 1, okay? So be warned. So like I said, we're dealing with the consequences of everything that happened in book 1. So we're dealing with the fact that we were sent to die and we battled these venom and these wyverns, and we now know that there is a life outside of the wards. And it is scary, and we're not actually battling who we think we're battling, because we thought that we were battling these griffins and their riders, but we're not. We are battling venom, and they're actually much scarier than the griffins, and our government's keeping that from us. And so we're dealing with that, and we're dealing with the fact that we have to go back to school, and we know that they know we know about the venom and life outside of the wards, and we kind of have to pretend like I know what you did and you know what I did, and we're going to stay on the same page and not talk about it, okay? Mutually beneficial silence for everybody, except they're really mad that we know, and they're definitely trying to kill us. And so we're dealing with assassins creeping up and attacking the people that were there in this battle at the end of book 1. They are going up missing and just dying randomly, and it's happening continuously throughout our time at the school, right? So that's us dealing with these consequences. We're also dealing with this second in command general. He is now at the school, and he is vicious, and he is trying to get back at the kids that were at the battle, and he is demanding things, and when he doesn't get his way, they get punished, severely punished. We're also dealing with the fact that Violet no longer trusts any of the marked ones, including Xaden, who she was falling in love with at the end of book 1. She is feeling very betrayed because him and his friends kept this secret from her, and she is livid. She doesn't know that she can trust him again. She definitely doesn't trust Xaden, but she stays friends with all the other marked ones. It's just Xaden, and I think that it complicates it because she was falling in love with him. And if she hadn't been falling in love with him and didn't feel so betrayed, then I think that she would have been able to process it faster. But no, she is so mad at him throughout the story, and they're dealing with the mistrust and communication and the fact that he can't tell her everything because of his ranking, and the fact that he is helping the rebellion and he just can't tell her everything, and she doesn't like that. So we're having to deal with that. And we're also dealing with the fact that Violet is also keeping those same types of secrets from the people that she loves. And there's a little bit of hypocrisy here where she's not fine with it, but she'll do it because she knows that it's for the best, and she can't share those secrets because they're not hers to share. Meanwhile, she's mad at Xaden for it. So we're dealing with those type of relationship issues with them. And they aren't technically together, but they are definitely trying to work on it. I know a lot of people really like book 1 better than book 2, but I think that it's not because book 1 is such a step down from book 2. I think that it's just because of nostalgia. I think it's because they fall in love with these characters in this story in book 1, and so they just have more feeling attached to book 1. And book 1 is an emotional roller coaster, and I mean this one is too. But the other one, I feel like it really pulled your heartstrings because you just felt so attached. And this one, you still felt attached, but the second time around, it doesn't hit the same way as it does the first time, I think this one has more action in it. We're dealing with a lot of PTSD from that original battle. We're dealing with a lot of fear and attempts to get stronger and try to better ourselves, and this insatiable pursuit to get stronger and get to where we feel more comfortable in our abilities to battle these venom and battle this adversary who is just so strong, who can take you out in seconds. I think this one has more fight scenes and more conflict. I think the other one you really sat with like the relationship issues between Xaden and Dane and her and their little love triangle. I think this one has a lot more like the actual battle scenes and like battle conflict. We're also trying to research old magic and utilize old magic, which is very different from the first one. The first one, it's a lot of like learning hand-to-hand combat and learning battle strategy. And this one, we don't do as much of the learning portion outside of like magic, you know? I think we lean more into the magic portion going into this book. We have new enemies and new allies in this book. The only problem I had with this book is the hypocrisy between Violet and Xaden, and I feel like it just went on too long. And if you can deal with that and you really love fast pace, I think that you would like it. At the very least, if you loved the first one, I would definitely give this one a try. Don't let the fact that book 1 is the best one sway you, okay? Because book 2 is definitely very, very good, and it will definitely break your heart throughout the story. And I think a lot of the directions that the story takes are really different, and also kind of like, oh, that's exactly where the story should go, you know, like that sort of thing. I still really love the characters. I think the characters are fantastic. I think they're fully fleshed out, and we get to learn more about new characters, which is really cool. And we get to go deeper with the ones that we've already established while we meet these new people and grow closer with new types of people. And we're seeing different aspects of like the military branches. Like we have some like combat soldiers in this one a little bit more who we actually like learn about. We're learning more about the flyers, and the flyers are the ones who ride the griffins. We're learning more about them, and we're learning more about the history of the nation and how we got started and how we got the wards up and those types of things. So definitely a very interesting book, and one that I really loved. I would say, while the book 1 is still number 1 for me, it's only just barely, because I was just so enthralled by that first one. But the second one it's fantastic. But okay, I think that's all for non-spoilers, because I just really want to get to the spoilers. So if you don't want to know spoilers, then click off now. Let me know if you're going to read it in the comments, and I will see you later. Okay, so spoilers. I have some notes, but I don't know that they're in like exactly the right order, and I don't know if I've got everything, but these are the things that I remember like really sticking out in my head. So those are the things that we're going to talk about. Let's just start with Sloan, okay? I love Liam. Liam's one of my favorites, and I was really sad when he died in the first one. And Sloan hates Violet. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting Sloan to come in as feisty as she did, and with the lack of knowledge for like combat and stuff that she did. And I was just so surprised by her reaction to Violet. I mean, it makes sense that she would blame Violet for Liam dying, because Dane read Violet's mind and knew about everything, and that's why they got sent there, and that's why he died. But it wasn't her fault that they got sent there, and it wasn't her fault that her memories were stolen, and it's not her fault that Liam died by the venom. Like, it's not her fault, right? And so I love the fact that we got Sloan to, one, train in combat by bribing her with letters from Liam every week. You get a letter whenever you train each week. And I love the progression of Sloan coming around to Violet through Liam, because she's reading the letters from Liam, and he's talking about Violet and how much Violet means to him. And she said to Violet, it's hard to hate you when he didn't. And I just love that. And I want to know what he wrote in his letters. I would love to read his letters. I think that would just be a great addition to these books, because I just want to know more. I miss Liam, and I loved him. And I don't know that we had enough time with Liam, and I just want more Liam. One of the biggest points in this book is in Dorna, where she is a growing dragon, and she's just sleeping all the time. Like, what's his name? Varish wanting Andarna to come and fly with him, that I think that that's reasonable, that he would want to see the dragon and he would want the dragon to be a part of these lessons. But punishing Violet for the fact that Andarna didn't come to the lessons, that's messed up, because she can't control the dragons. He can't control the dragons. And he's going to punish Violet anyways? Like, boy, come on. Like, they reiterate throughout all of book 1 and book 2, you do not control the dragons. The dragons answer to no one but themselves. So you demanding for Andarna to come and her not coming, and then you punishing Violet, that's wild, because you know that she can't control that. She can't do anything. And that's a big secret for her that she has to keep, because Andarna is growing and she is having to sleep in order to develop into a bigger dragon, or like, I guess, mature into an adult dragon. And we can't tell that secret to anybody because nobody knows that she's a baby. And I love the teenage attitude in this, though, when she's like awake and she's like giving them attitude. Oh, my niece is 13, and so like teenage attitude, I am well aware of the teenage attitude. And I work with teenagers, you know, in therapy. So I'm very aware. And so I love the fact that she had some teenage attitude and she was feisty. Like, she'd wake up from her nap and just give sass and then go back to sleep. It's just like a teenager. So I really loved that piece. And I think it's interesting that we learn later that she has grown deformed and her wing doesn't work right. And so she has to do like physical therapy essentially in order to strengthen the wing. And she cannot fly at this point. She may or may not be able to fly, and she probably won't ever be able to hold a rider, which is probably like the biggest heartbreak for a dragon, because that's, I mean, it's not all their purpose because they don't always all bond a dragon, but she's already bonded. And for her to not be able to carry Violet is heartbreaking, and they haven't told her. And I think at this point, at the end of book 2, I think that they still haven't told her. So that's going to be interesting when they finally have to tell her. But man, Andarna, I loved Andarna. She is so feisty, and I love the transformation of her. Like, we learn later that she is her own dragon and she can get camouflage. Like, what? I did not expect that at all. I thought she was going to be gold. And I was so sad when she wasn't gold anymore. And we thought that she was turning black like Taryn. No, she's camouflaged. She can do whatever she wants. And I love that. I think that that is fantastic. And I think that that was a really good, like, twist. Because I don't know that anyone would have, like, guessed that. I mean, I definitely didn't guess that at all. And I thought that was, it was out of the blue enough that I wouldn't have guessed it, but not so out of the blue that it felt like it was like a trick, you know? Like, just for shock value. I think that it matched up with the story and everything that we were doing, like, perfectly. And then, talking about Varys, whenever he was punishing Violet, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? He makes her do her lightning strikes and lightning and lightning and lightning and again and again and again and again. She almost dies from this stupid thing. And I love that when she's like passed out, basically, Taryn calls for the marked ones, because those are the ones that he knows and the ones that he trusts, and he calls for them and they come and they help her like immediately. And at this point, I don't know that they were like great again. I think that they were like on the verge of being great again and like fully friends again. And so I love that they were there for her and that they pretty much didn't hesitate. Like, they were there quick when she needed them. And I love that. I love when friends can really show up for each other. Like, that's the whole point of a friendship. You know, we don't need friends when everything's going great. We need people when things suck. And when you almost burn out from lightning strikes, yeah, life kind of sucks, you know? And so I think that that was really great that they were there for her. I was so anxious every time Violet had to like leave to go see Xaden, and she was carrying supplies for the rebellion, and Varys is there and he's like searching all of her bags. So anxious every single time, because I just knew this is the time that he's gonna find out. And oh man, I was so anxious every time. And if you read the story, you know that Violet and Xaden, she can go to see him once a week and he can come see her the next week, you know, so they kind of alternate. And it was great, like, storytelling, because of the fact that because the leadership hates them because they're part of the rebellion, they would make it difficult on them. They would have them doing like tasks or whatever. So the dragons could see each other because they're mated and they kind of like have to see each other. But those two don't have to see each other, so we'll keep them busy while you're there. So I thought that was really great storytelling. It sucked. And I was like, why are you guys doing this? You guys are just being petty at this point. But I thought it was really great storytelling. And then when they go on that hike, so the riders have to work with the foot soldiers and they have to like navigate and all these things. And they have 2 different maps. I loved that. I thought that was so funny. Like, who's gonna think of that? I definitely wouldn't have thought of that. I definitely didn't realize that they had 2 different maps. I mean, I knew that they were talking about things and they were arguing about like where things were and where they were. But the fact that it was 2 separate maps was a perfect plot point. Like, that was great. I was really concerned about the fact that they gave them that potion to drink, that tonic, whatever, to cut them off from the dragons. I think that that is kind of cruel because the way that it's worded in the story is that is the worst thing you could do to somebody. And for them to break that connection, oh, that's definitely, you're definitely crossing the line. I do love how when they went to be interrogated for like training, that they remembered about that tonic and they didn't use it. They didn't drink the drink or whatever. And so they weren't affected by not having their dragons. I thought that that was really cool. That they remembered and were able to use that later. So I really love that. One of the biggest surprises was Jack being alive. How in the world is he alive? Like, what? Why is he alive? We dropped a mountain on him. How is he alive? And then for him to turn Venom and us to like know that he's Venom later. Excuse me? What are you talking about? I did not think that at all. Like, I didn't have a clue how he was able to like survive. I thought that they just like got him from the mountain and they did their magic, like no one can heal people, right? I thought maybe he was just really good and that's why he was so tired, because like that takes a lot of work to revive someone after they died, after a mountain dropped on them. No, he's Venom. What? So wild. And then the fact that he was so different after he came back for his like second chance, is what he called it. I got a second chance of life, so I'm gonna be nicer. Boy, please. And I did love the scene when Violet's like hanging out of the tower and he like comes and saves her and she's like, you saved me. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I can let you hang out there again and not save you this time. And she's like, no, I'm good, thanks. I thought that was hilarious. I love like those dialogue moments, and I think that Rebecca Yarros does really good. Like, these books are so funny to me because they have these little quick-witted one-liners. Fantastic humor. One of the other big plot points of the story is that Violet is trying to figure out how to get the wards up so that she can get the wards up at the town that they're staying in. I can't pronounce it. I don't know what it is. But it's Xaden's home. And they're trying to get the wards up. And they end up learning that there are these journals that have magic in them. And, or well, like details of magic of how they originally got the wards up at wherever it is that the training school is. I don't even know. But anyways, can you tell I don't know what I'm talking about? But anyways, so they end up breaking into that vault, right? Well, then they get caught. And Violet gets tortured. And oh my gosh, these scenes. And so she's being tortured. And that is so heartbreaking for me. And then Liam, we're hallucinating Liam. And I'm just like, oh, I'm crying. Oh, I'm so heartbroken. Because we have Liam here. And he's just like here with us the whole time. And he's just like, hold the line. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh, it was so heartbreaking. And like, this felt like an ending. Like when we got to the scene in this book, it felt like an ending, but we're only halfway through. Where do we go from here? Like, she's being tortured. It's bait for Xaden. They're trying to get Xaden. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Xaden's not going to know because she can't talk to Taryn. And then, how's he supposed to come save her if he doesn't know? And then, if he does come save her, like, it's a trap for him. I was so scared. I was absolutely so scared in this. And then we brought Dane in. And, oh, hang on. I gotta tell you about Nolan. So, Nolan breaking her bones, and then Nolan killing her just to re-break them. What? Can you imagine anything more torturous than dealing with the same broken bone over and over and over? Oh my gosh. It was wild. Absolutely wild. I absolutely hated and loved this because it broke my heart in the best ways. Because, like, it's great storytelling. Oh, but I hated it so much. Oh, but then we get Dane coming in and he's gonna, like, read our memories. And he's like, originally he was like, she's injured, so I can't perform my powers on her because she's injured. And, you know, the code of ethics or whatever. And then he does it this time. What? So much for your rules, Dane. So he looks at her memories. But then, because he saw her memories, he stabbed Varnish, whatever. I want to call him Varnish, whatever. He stabbed him. And now we can, like, get free. And he's, like, helping Violet get free. And then in comes Xaden, to rescue. And I'm so glad that he came to rescue. And so he came in and he, like, rescued her. And him and Violet together finished off Varish. And so he's dead. Like, he's dead. And Xaden turns on Dane and Violet's like, no, he saved me. And Xaden's like, all right, Atos. And he's like, are you coming? And Dane's like, I guess. And he's like, well, come on then. And I'm just, it's so funny. I love, like, the one-liners. They're great. And then we have Garrick coming in and he's like, bro, you could have left me some of them. Like, you slaughtered everybody in the whole building. I had to, like, take 10 minutes to clear out the stairwell and you didn't leave me nobody. That's so funny. Like, that's so Xaden. And, like, oh, I just love it. And then we see her mom and her mom lets them go. What? Why is her mom letting them go? Like, you're a general and you're just gonna let them go. And so they end up taking everybody with them. Like, ooh, everybody's leaving. So, well, not everybody, but a lot of people, after Violet and Xaden shared what they actually knew. And a lot of people leave and they go with Xaden and Violet to the Xaden's home, and it feels like an ending. Like, that feels like an ending. And it wasn't. It was just the middle. Okay, so then the next thing that we're working on is trying to figure out the wards, right? Well, there's this dude, and I don't know his name. Viscount Takaris? I don't know. So he is a collector, essentially, and he wants to see Violet, and he wants to see her World Lightning. Well, Xaden doesn't want to take her up there, but Violet's like, I'm going. Like, we need this, I'm going. So she goes, and they end up having to fight Venom. And so it's her and her brother and her sister right here trying to fight these Venom and almost die. And I love when we look up at the bleachers and you got Xaden has that dude by, like, the collar and he's, like, holding him up. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry. And so they end up getting the luminary from him. But his caveat is that they have to take the Griffins and the Flyers to Xaden's home and allow them to live there and train with them. And so Xaden's ex-girlfriend, Kat, is coming with us because she's a Griffin and she's a Flyer. Or she has a Griffin and she is a Flyer. And wild. And she has this power where she can, like, inflame your emotions. And so she just, like, targets Violet all the time and, like, gets Violet all riled up all the time. And it's so entertaining to watch. But so, for whatever reason, they needed the Griffins and the Flyers to have some sort of, like, proving themselves. Like the riders do when they cross the parapet in the beginning. They wanted something like that for, I don't remember why. It doesn't seem like it's like that big a deal. But so they decide that the Griffins and the Flyers and some of the Dragon Riders are gonna like walk up this mountain. And I guess it's like pretty precarious. And Taran is so sassy. He said, take the Griffins for a walk and see if they're worthy. And I'm like, why are you so dramatic? Why are you so dramatic? But it was such a good line. And so they go for their walk. And they end up losing people. And they end up fighting a dragon where he was Varys' dragon. And he like traps them in a cave, and so like they have to like battle this dragon like one-on-one. And thankfully we had Endorna who was able to like help them out, and I think Endorna killed the dragon. And it's a big deal if you kill a dragon. Like, you should not kill a dragon. Like, it's bad. And I think Endorna killed him. I don't know, let me fact check it. Yeah, I was correct. He was killed by Endorna. And look at me remembering stuff. And so that becomes a thing. Well, Violet is trying to raise the wards, and she's failing. She thinks that she understands the translations of these journals, and she doesn't. And so they try, and they fail, and she has no idea what's happening. Well, then we get approached by the general from our previous academy where we came from. And he's like, hey, I need you guys to help me out in this battle that's getting ready to happen. The Venom are coming, and I need your help. And part of them didn't want to do it, but Violet was like, we need to help. Because part of the problem with where we came from is that they would leave these innocent people to fight the Venom on their own and not have any protections. So I don't feel good doing that to where we came from, right? So they go back and they're fighting, and this whole last part of this book is absolutely wild. This is where we find out that Xaden has a second signet. He can wield shadows, which we all know about, everyone knows about. But we talk a lot about how the dragons can't bond with anyone in the same human line. Well, Xaden's grandfather was bonded to Xaden's dragon. So that means that Xaden has a second signet, but we don't know what it is. All right. So we know that Xaden has a second signet, but we don't know what it is. And Violet is asking him about it, and he's like pale, freaked out. And they've been working on the fact that they're trying to be more honest and things with each other. And she's like, you have a need for control. You are a great judge of character, and you have to be. You're an intrinsic. And he's like, yeah, I am. And he's all freaked out. Because if you are an intrinsic, like, they can kill you on the spot. Like, no second thoughts about it. Like, in the first book, we had a kid who, the very first second that he started hearing other people's thoughts, they killed him. No training, no nothing, no attempts to corral that. They just killed him. And Violet's like, how did you get this by everybody? Like, how did you survive this long with no one knowing? And he's just very, very good. And his dragon helped him a lot. And that's why they're really close, and that's why he like knows when people can be trustworthy. And it's wild. This is also when we find out that Jack is a Venom and all these things. Violet is attempting to get the wards up, and she finally figures it out that it's 7 dragons and from 7 different clans, and Darna is the 7th dragon. There was only 6 colors, right? And Darna was the 7th one, and she figured it out when Darna was like there. She was like, realized she was camoed. What? And Darna has her own tribe because she's her own different type of dragon? Where did you come from? You know, like, I don't understand. But so, yeah, that was wild. And so they're able to get the wards up. And what else happened? Mom died in order to help us get the wards up because we needed, like, so much power in the wards in order to get them up. And so mom drained all of her power into the wards to get them up, which was, man, that was fantastic. Like, that was a great move. We knew going into the book too that someone was gonna die. You know, someone's gonna die, right? And I didn't think it was gonna be mom. I thought it was gonna be someone who was a little bit closer to Violet. But I think her mom dying was a good move because of the fact that it allowed mom to be redeemed a little bit for some of her previous choices. So I really liked that. I thought that was a great move. And then the ending. The very, very ending. This is the part that is just absolutely, it fits, but it's like, what do we do now? Xaden is Venom. He was fighting the Venom. He was gonna lose, so he pulled power from the ground, which turns you into a Venom. You take too much power, and killed the Venom and ruined his own life because he had to survive. He could not survive. Like, what do you mean? Now what do we do? Like, what do we do now? Because now he's Venom, and I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know what that's gonna look like at all. And so I cannot wait to read Onyx Storm so I can find out, where do we go from here? And I don't even know like where the next set of the story goes from here. Because I think we killed the most powerful Venom. I think that's the one that Xaden was fighting. What's next? Are we gonna have to battle Xaden? Is Xaden gonna become our enemy and we have to like battle him? Oh, I'm crying just thinking about it. That would be a fantastic move. Oh, I can't. Okay, I have to move on. I can't go down that road. Cannot. Okay. Oh, anyways, so yes, Iron Flame. Loved it. I had a great time reading this. I cannot wait for Onyx Storm. I think I'm gonna try and do it end of April, maybe early March. I've got several things that are like I've already gotten the borrows from, so I'm like a little overwhelmed with all the things I'm like trying to get done before I get to it, but it's gonna come soon because I cannot wait. What about you? Have you read Iron Flame? Did you see any of these plot points coming? Because I sure didn't. If you did, you're way smarter than me, which is probably not hard, but you know. But let me know your thoughts on Iron Flame, and I will see you in the next one.